Hello and welcome to Breaking Bread with Rivaaj Maharaj, where nothing is off the table. For today's episode, I want to talk about the current plans by the UK government to send a battleship to protect British assets at the Cyprus base. So without further ado, let's get into it. An article has just surfaced claiming that the UK is considering sending a major warship to Cyprus to help defend the Royal Air Force base as a result of missile and drone attacks that the base had sustained from the Iranians yesterday. I found this article here by Sky News. Let me just read it for you. The UK is considering sending a major warship to Cyprus to help defend a Royal Air Force base from the threat of attack by Iranian drones and missiles, it is understood. Discussions are taking place about deploying a Type 45 destroyer. It is the only piece of equipment in the British arsenal with the ability to shoot down ballistic missiles. We are looking hard at it, a defense source said. A Whitehall source added, nothing is confirmed yet. John Healey, the defense secretary, has been meeting with military chiefs to discuss options to increase the protection at RAF Akrotiri after it was hit by a drone on Sunday night. Either HMS Duncan or HMS Dragon would be deployed if the order is given. The Times reported the Ministry of Defense was planning to deploy HMS Duncan to the region amid Donald Trump's escalating war with Iran. So, we know that the UK, Keir Starmer, he's been flip-flopping on, you can use the base, you can't use the base, we're in the war, we're not in the war. Now he's sending he's threatening to send a battleship there. I think it's an inevitability that at some point the United Kingdom would be involved in strikes on Iran, because I think Keir Starmer's idea behind this is to come out as looking like he did everything within his power not to engage with Iran. However, his hand was forced because of the indiscriminate shelling by the Iranians. If I think he's the type of person that would play a game like that. We also know that Donald Trump has publicly, on no fewer than 2 occasions, attacked Keir Starmer for not having allowed the United States use of its air bases, especially the Chagos Island air base as well. So, Donald Trump has praised the French for their assistance. He's praised the Germans. I know Friedrich Merz has come out in what seems like comments that are more favorable to what Donald Trump would expect. And he's also meeting with Donald Trump at present, I think, in the United States. So, the British government's flip-flopping, and, Keir Starmer keeps talking about international law. International law is something that has to be, because we hear the word law, we assume that everybody abides by it. And that is not the case. International law is only applicable to those who accept it. So, the United States have been known to have committed those atrocities in Abu Ghraib and in Afghanistan and in Iraq. However, they were not signatory to the. I think it is the Rome Statute that the United States are not signatory to. So you find that despite what has been going on, their military personnel are always dealt with in the United States. But anyway, international law is something that requires everybody to basically abide by it. Now, if a country does not follow the principles of international law, there's not much you can do to get them to follow it. The United Nations was set up to make sure that it maintained some semblance of that international law. However, of recent times, you've seen it woefully incapacitated. This Iran conflict is a case in point, because it's been convened once. The Russians and Chinese called for the convening of the United Nations Security Council. They've had a few minutes to discuss it, and really, the United Nations seems to be really impotent in this matter. So again, if you are invoking international law, for example, Keir Starmer talks about international law and he doesn't want to go into Iran because it's against international law, then, the same could be said for Ukraine. The UK is actively supporting insurgency in Ukraine, acts of sabotage across the border with Russia. It's I just feel it's quite a duplicitous game that we play when we use international law when it suits us and we look the other way when it doesn't. So there's interesting times ahead. Donald Trump is talking about this war extending beyond the 4-week period. I'm certain it is going to extend beyond that period, and I think that by that time, the United Kingdom in some shape or form would be dragged into this conflict. Time will tell. Let's see. We're keeping a close eye on this. I want to thank you for spending time with us. We look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, as it helps us with the algorithm and it helps our channel to grow.